Hey folks, here are OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of yet another fairly generic Bluetooth smart LED bulb. So these have been quite popular ever since the whole notion of smart homes and appliances have really picked up momentum with the introduction of AI devices like Alexa, as well as consolidated smart security products. So here is another option that you can find for sub 25 bucks online. It's an LED light bulb that you can use your phone to control after you download a free app via Android or iOS. You can control the color of the bulb. It's just a standard bulb, and it also is a Bluetooth speaker, so you can play music on it and use it for songs in your room, in addition to maybe playing back movies. So here's the QR code for scanning the code, and this is what the size, I guess, of the standard bulb looks like, and the back just features some basic info about the specs of both the speaker as well as the light. So you can see that the power supply uses Bluetooth version 4.0, so the range is about 10 meters or so. Light flux is 273.0. Light angle is about 120 degrees, so it's energy efficient because they're using LED, and compared to a traditional bulb, obviously it's going to last a lot longer. In the box, we have access just to the light bulb itself, and there's a quick start guide as well that tells you how to set things up in a bit more detail. And it tells you, again, the application, so it's printed in full color. This is what it should look like once everything is on, but I think this is probably Photoshop since it's showing multiple colors displayed at once. And it shows you your supported iOS and Android platforms, how to change the color of the light. It looks quite vibrant and pretty looking, and how to set it up. So have to pair it. You have to wait for a few seconds after you turn on the light switch, just because it needs to initialize and calibrate for a few seconds first. But afterwards, you can see this is what the light bulb is like. Very basic, but compared to the other smart light bulb that we checked out that has basically the same exact feature set, this one does seem to be a lot more sleek and a lot more typical. The weight is about the same, but this one has this interesting halo glow effect, whereas this one is a lot more distributed and even like a regular light bulb, and the sound comes out of the circle as opposed to on the center. So it's almost the reverse as far as the distribution of the light versus the speakers. So this gives you a bit more of a full blast from the sound source, but it's not a stereo speaker. It's also mono speaker like the previous one. A bit of info about the specifications of this and the input settings, but construction quality actually pretty good. It's made out of plastic, some metallic accents. This part. Here I have the application, which is again a free download. It's called CH Smart Bulb, and you can see it's actually pretty simple to actually pair with the light. Once you plug it into a standard adapter and turn it on, you wait for a few seconds for it to initialize, and then in the connection page, you just refresh the page and it will automatically detect the correct bulb, which means that you can actually connect to multiple bulbs at the same time. So if you have a complex setup and a larger house, you can do it for multiple rooms, which is pretty cool, although the range again is around 10 meters per Bluetooth bulb. Afterwards, if we go to the lamp page, what you can do is again change the light as well as the color in terms of the brightness controls. So down below here, the bottom bar is for the brightness. So as you can see here, I can change the brightness to a pretty smooth extent to make it bright enough for reading as well as dark enough for some night glow effects if I'm working, typing out a bit of essays or reading, something like that. And I can also change on the very top the kind of the shade of the color in terms of getting a bit more yellow, a bit more pink, and then change it in terms of the specific shade of color that I want by changing it on this wheel. So this color wheel calibrates the color to a pretty good extent. So it's an LED light and it uses the primary colors to mix things together, and you can actually see that the colors do change accordingly, and it creates a pretty cool effect. It's actually quite bright as well. So if you want a very warm color that simulates the experience of an actual regular light bulb or a candle, you can actually turn the color to yellow, and that obviously will give you a better experience there. But then again, you can change the color and the shade very dramatically depending on what you're looking for, and set it to auto as well. Other things that you can do using the application is to turn the light on or off manually. For instance, off right now, this is what it looks like. Turn it back on, it remembers the previous color, and I can also go to settings and set a timer so that it automatically turns off the light after, let's say, an hour or something like that. So that's a pretty cool application as well. Finally, let's try doing a quick test of the audio experience in terms of whether or not as a speaker it does a good job. When you first pair it, there aren't any voice-guided prompts or anything like that, so it's completely silent, which is nice to see. And there's just a simple click or beeping sound once you've successfully connected to your device. Alright, so hopefully that was a quick sample indicative of the audio experience on this light bulb speaker, and it's actually pretty good. If you turn the volume all the way down, there actually isn't any distortion or static in the background, which is pretty common for Bluetooth speakers, which is nice to find here. However, it doesn't have that much bass, so it's a little tinny. If you turn the volume all the way up, it doesn't really have a punch in the places where the drum and the beats comes in, so that's one limitation. But it's clean enough, it's loud enough to play back most, I would say, film tracks, most general pop music without any issues. So really it's a smart design, as I talked about in the previous smart light bulb that we checked out, because you'll be putting this on a desk or on a ceiling, and it really fills up the space nicely and saves you the room of having to put a separate speaker. Obviously, the speaker quality isn't going to be as strong as an audiophile grade separate speaker, but it is good enough for general purposes, good enough for parties and for some dance EDM music, most popular genres that you might want to be interested in with something like this in the first place. The fact that you can control the color of the light is definitely a plus, and everything seems to be surprisingly nicely designed. Everything works without any issues, at least in my general testing. So I came away with, pretty pleased with this overall smart Bluetooth LED lamp. I think this is a good alternative to the other version that we checked out. If you don't like that one in terms of the glow of the light being a circle, this one is a bit more natural looking, although the speaker quality is not quite as good as the last one, so a little bit of a trade-off in both places. You can check out more details about this in our official written review, but for now, this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.